Okay, as I was saying before, we decided to take a road trip, and we had a couple of places. I'm gonna try to do this before the husband comes back. You all know he hates being on camera. Um, but we had a couple of places that we thought about, and when it all was said and done, we decided Chicago. Even though it wasn't in the initial, this is what we're gonna do. This is where we're gonna go. Um, so we figured we surprise the family because our children are still here. His sister is still here. Cousins are still here. So we were like, I'm sorry, this TV is on and I'm not familiar with this remote. Okay, I can't mute it. I'm not familiar with the remote. Okay, so anyway, so we decided to come to Chicago, surprise everybody, come to Chicago. So after my doctor's appointment Wednesday, the doctor told me that I could travel. I just needed to stop from time to time and walk, move around so I don't get any blood clots. So we were like, okay, cool. And we figured that she would say yes. So we had already packed our stuff and put it in the car. So we just hit the road right after we left her office. We made 2 stops to a gas station, got gas. Stop number 3, we got gas. And I was like, okay, well, if we fill up now, then we can just, keep going. We don't have to go to Boomland. But we had gone through several storms, and a storm had hit this particular area as well that we were in Osceola, Arkansas. So we had stopped at a gas station that we've stopped at several times before on this very same route, headed to Chicago. Stopped at the gas station, and the young lady said, look, the gas is running really slow. We've had several customers complaining. The gas is running really slow. So I'm warning you now. And I was like, well, we don't have a choice. Um, we've got to get gas. Because, we were on like a quarter tank or just above a quarter tank. So we had to get gas. And so I said, told her how much I wanted. And she said, okay, I'm just warning you, it's really slow. And while I'm talking to her, the phone rings and it's her manager. And she's explaining to the manager that the gas is running really slow. And it didn't start until after the storm, the big storm that they just had. So immediately my mind starts rolling and I'm thinking, okay, is it, she already said it's running slow, which means it might be near the bottom of their supply, which means you might be dealing with sediment. And then she says it was after the storm, and it didn't click. After the storm means water. It just was like, okay, I'm still thinking sediment. So we go out, we put gas in the car, and it's going great initially. And then it gets to like $19.10, and it starts going really, really slow. So I told the husband to go in, just stop it. They're telling him it's still going, and I get out the car and look, and it's now at 1916 or 1915. So it's like, okay, let me go in here. So I go in and explain to them that we want to just stop it. He goes out, takes the nozzle out, and puts it back in the thing. And he said, okay, we'll stop it. And they refund me back the difference between what I said and what actually went in. Thanks. No problem. We get in the car, get it started, pull out of the gas station, get onto the expressway, get onto the highway. And as I'm going from the right lane to the left lane, the car's slowing down. I'm like, well, I'm not. slowing the car down. And my foot is like literally pressing the gas. I'm like, well, I'm not slowing it down. And my husband is like, well, why are you slowing down? What are you doing? I'm not doing it. And I look at the dash and the lights are on. I said, okay. So thankfully, there was no traffic coming. So I eased us back over to the right shoulder, pulled over, the car stops. And it jerks to a stop. And yes, I'm sorry, I'm still in bed because I'm tired. I needed to rest. And you figure out why when I'm finished telling this. So car jerks to a stop, and I'm like, what in the world? So I try to start the car again. It doesn't start. Try again. It doesn't start. We sit there a couple of minutes. The husband tries. It doesn't start. So he calls his sister to tell his sister, I was trying to surprise you, but, you know, we're stuck on the side of the road. Calls my son, my oldest, and tells him the same thing. And he tries to start the car again. Nothing. So I'm like, wait a minute. This didn't happen until the gas. So I call the gas station. I look for, and he gets out of the car to look under the hood. He's not mechanical at all, but he thinks he is. So he gets out. I call the gas station and I explain to them what's going on. And the manager shows up and she's like, well, the manager's right here. You can talk to him. So I talked to the manager, Ike, and explained to him what's going on. He was like, well, ma'am, let me go check the gas and I'll call you back. Let me go check our tanks. Okay. 15 minutes go by. Nothing. So my husband says, um, and I'm so grateful I had the mind to do this last month. Was it last month? Last month, the month before last. I'm so grateful I had the mind to do this before, or when I did it. So my husband says, why don't you just call AAA? I just signed up for a AAA membership last month. So I'm like, I mean, we don't really know any good mechanics. So I'll get AAA. And then we are on the road a lot, even if we're just going to Arkansas, because, we've got family there and his mom is buried there. So even if we go to Arkansas, I still wanted us to have some kind of protection. So I'm like, okay, I'll just get this AAA. It's less than $20 for the two of us a month. So I call AAA, explain it to them, tell them what happened, and they say, okay, we're going to send somebody out, and blah, blah, blah. So, sorry. So, excuse me. So my husband tries to start the car again while I'm on the phone with AAA. Nothing. And then the manager calls. No, he doesn't call. I call him because at this point now we're looking at it's 30, almost 45 minutes that have gone by. And he hasn't called. So I call him, and the girl says, well, man, he just walked out the door to go check the tank. Okay, well, he said that 15, 20 minutes ago. So I wait again. Now, at this point, I've already called AAA, waiting on them to come. They call back because they've got the wrong location. And they want to be certain. So the lady's asking me about what the mile marker says. And I'm like, sweetie, I don't know what the mile marker says. All I know is we got on the expressway at Osceola where the Shell is, and the car stopped. And I'm sitting right in front of the sign that tells you how far to this city and how far to that city. That's the only mile marker I see right now. I don't see, there are little mile markers if you know anything about the highway or expressway. There are little mile markers on the side of the road that tell you what mile you're at. And I didn't see that, but I did see the sign that says, okay, 12 miles to Blytheville and 232 miles to St. Louis. So this is what I'm telling them. She's like, ma'am, we had you in Marion. I said, no, that's not where I am. I am in Osceola, right off the entrance from the Shell gas station. Like literally, we get on and then the car slows down. We pull over, and I landed stop right in front of this sign that says Blythefield and St. Louis. So the guy finally calls back and says, well, ma'am, I checked the tank and there's no water in our tanks. I said, that's not true. There's got to be water in the tanks because we were fine. We stopped at two other gas stations, didn't have any issues, and we get to your gas station. You just happened to have that storm come through. I put gas in my tank, and now my car broke down. So, tow truck shows up. We explain it to the tow truck driver. He puts our car on a flatbed, and now this whole time we're like, okay, we're gonna have to sleep in the car. Wherever they take us, we're gonna have to sleep in the car. Um, the guy's like, well, you want a little cheap motel? And yeah. So he gets us to a Red Roof Inn. It's $60, and he drops us off, and then he takes the car to the repair shop. At this point, it is about 1:45 or 11 o'clock at night. So we sat on the side of the road for an hour in the dark, in the middle of nowhere. 18 wheelers whizzing by us, cars shaking like crazy. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. I've never been like this before. I do not, crazy. I'm upset. And I'm not like scared because I know what to do. You stay in your car until you absolutely have to get out, especially on the driver's side. But I was pissed off because this man was trying to tell me, and when I say, I mean pissed off, because this man is trying to tell me that there's no water in their tanks when they just had a major storm and our car was fine until we put gas in their gas station, at their gas station. So I'm pissed, and my husband's trying to, it's gonna be okay, babe, it's gonna be all right. He's doing the comforting thing, and I appreciated that, and I told him that. But that wasn't my issue. My issue really was, I'm pissed because this dude is trying to tell me that it wasn't their fault. So I called him back and I said, look, they're picking us up. You're gonna pay for this, ma'am. If it's something that we did, then absolutely we'll pay for it. But I didn't see any water in our tanks. You're gonna pay for this. Whatever this is going to cost us, you're going to pay for this. Because we don't have this kind of money to just throw away. Um, and even if we did have this kind of money, we're not into just throwing away money, you know? And two, this was because we put gas in our tanks at your gas station. So we get to the hotel, like I said, $60. They get it to the shop. We try to go to sleep. The hardest thing in the world to do, go to sleep. The husband didn't sleep at all. At all. He was up and down all night. And so because he was up and down all night, I didn't sleep. I got some sleep, but I didn't sleep very well. So next morning, shop opens up at 8. Excuse me. The husband calls at 8:15. Now, they haven't really looked at the car yet. The shop just opened up, so he's getting frustrated unnecessarily. So I grabbed the phone and talked to the guy. He's like, well, ma'am, we just got the car in. They're just now looking at it. Um, it's going to take 30 to 45 minutes for them to figure out what's going on. It's on the diagnostic machine, and we'll let you know. So I said, okay, no problem. I understand. Explain all that to the husband. He's pissed off because he's like, well, they should have looked at it. Well, the shop opened at 8. It's 8:15. A diagnostic test takes more than 15 minutes. So I bathed, changed my clothes, and noticed that I had a voicemail. The phone never rang. Signal was horrible. So I go listen to the voicemail, and it's the mechanic saying, okay, so we dropped the tank. You have water in your tank. It's going to take us a good 30 to 45 minutes to do what we got to do to drain it and all of that. Um, but definitely there was water in the tank. And so I'm like, okay, thank you for letting us know. How much is this going to cost? And he's like, well, I'm not 100% sure. It's going to be about $400. Not really 100% sure. Um, they'll let you know when you get there. Okay, cool. I said, by the way, our checkout is 11 a.m. We, of course, have no way to come in, get to your shop. He says, no worries. I'll have somebody come pick you up in about 30 minutes. Okay, cool. So we go grab some chips and juice just to have something in our systems and get back to the room. Everything is still packed. We never took anything out because we knew we weren't going to be there long. But then the husband decides he wants to bathe and change clothes. But he didn't even get a chance to change clothes because our ride showed up. So the ride gets there. We get to the shop, go to the shop and sit down. And about 15 minutes later, he comes in and says, no, about five minutes later, he comes in and says, okay, it's going to take us another 15 to 30 minutes. Okay, cool. 15 minutes later, he comes in and brings a bottle, and I will insert a picture. Brings a bottle of what they took out of our tank. It's half and half. Half gas, petroleum, uh, half water. I said, thank you. I had hoped that you would show us what that looked like. And the husband asked if we could keep it. The guy said, yeah, let me find you another top. And I said, if you can't find another top, we got 2 empty water bottles in the back of our car and in the back seat. Use those. He brings it back. Another 30 minutes. The car is ready. We get to the gas station, hit the road again. But it cost us $372 to get this car fixed. I called the guy back before we hit the road at the gas station, the manager. Water in the tank. Well, ma'am, we'll pay for it. We'll be happy. I said, I'll call you all. I'm going to come back to make sure that we get the right information to send this bill to you all. Because we, one, have to pay for this. 2, pay for the hotel. Everything that you all are responsible for. Well, ma'am, I told you we'll pay for it if it's our fault. Okay. Okay. And then all of a sudden, the line drops. Now, I'm still talking to him, but the line drops. I said, there's no worries. The husband says, call him back. No, I don't want to talk to him again. I'm still pissed. And I'm at the point now where if I talk to him again, I'm not going to be a Christian about it. Okay, sorry. That's annoying, and I still can't get this thing to mute. I wish it would mute, but it won't mute. Oh, that was really close. Sorry about that. So car fix, we get gas, we're on the road, we get to Chicago. I'm so tired. So we get to my sister-in-law's house. My oldest comes over. We had dinner. They're, happy to see us. My oldest is, because I just had this surgery 2 weeks ago. So he wants to make sure I'm okay. And I'm fine. I'm just uncomfortable. is I've been on the road all this time, stressing out about this doggone car, all of this great stuff. So now we've had a good night's sleep. At least I did. Once the husband stopped moving around on the bed, had a good night's sleep. And now we're going to get on with our day. I need to get in the shower and get some clothes on. And this is a full-size bed. It's a double bed. He and I have not ever slept in a double bed together. His sister, we slept in her bed before. She's got a queen-size bed. We've never slept in a full-size bed before together. He takes over the bed. So I knew this was going to be a rough night. And to a degree it was, because the bed is so small. And it was difficult, but I finally got some sleep. He got a little sleep after he got some relief. And we did wake up at like 5 o'clock this morning, but I was like, you trying to have a conversation. I ain't trying to have no conversation. I'm trying to go back to sleep. So we did go back to sleep. My alarm went off at 6:45. I shut it off and went right back to sleep. It is now, I have no idea what time it is right now, but I know it's after 8. And that's our road trip story. So we're going to be here for a couple of days. Grab some stuff from my son's apartment because we still have the rest of our things here. We still have the majority of our things here. So we're going to go through that stuff, get rid of what we can get rid of, and bring back what we can bring back. And probably leave next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, because I don't want to be in the middle of holiday traffic coming back. He wants to stay until Friday, but I just know that's not going to be a good thing. It's a long holiday weekend. People hit the road, traveling from one place to the other. I don't want to be in that. I don't want to be in that. I don't want to be in that with him, especially, because he's very impatient, and it's not pleasant at all. I don't know what the heck that was. It's not pleasant. So, he's a great guy, but he's very impatient when it comes to driving, especially. So, that's the road trip story. With that, peace and blessings. Remember to walk in your purpose, and know that I appreciate you. I'll try to pick up the camera again, the phone, and record again while we're here. But yeah, road trip. Yeah. All right. Again, peace and blessings. Remember to walk in your purpose and know that I appreciate you.